Total distance 20 miles. Total time 3 hours 53 minutes and 49 seconds. Split pace 11 minutes 32 seconds per mile.
Hey everyone, my name's Matt Lauderell, if you don't know me already. You may also know that I'm running the Chicago Marathon this Sunday, October 9th, in an attempt to provide 100 people in Africa with clean water. So you may ask, how does running 26.2 miles help people across the world get clean water? Well, I'm running with a great charitable organization called World Vision, and we're raising money for their clean water projects. Now, the really crazy thing is that World Vision says a donation of only $50 helps them provide clean water for one person for that person's entire life. So they do this by building wells and training people to maintain them and doing other community development in some of these very poor areas where they don't even have access to such a basic necessity as clean water. So this is something we totally take for granted. So I'm running and fundraising for this cause simply because I've been blessed with so much in my life, and it's not based on anything I've deserved, but simply like where I've been born, the people around me, where God has put me. So an opportunity like this is just a tiny portion of my resources, of my efforts, really, of my knee pain, but to share that with people who desperately need clean water. If it can make any impact at all, I can't say no to that. So thank you, everyone. A lot of you have already donated, and now I'm asking you to please share this video with some of your friends and family who think may be interested in joining us. I have another video to share with you of my friend David. He has some cool stories of when he was over in Africa last year to see the work that World Vision is doing firsthand. So if you could take a few minutes to listen to his awesome stories. If you want to donate while you listen, check out mattruns.com. Thanks. Hello.
Hello, Matt.
So everyone, it's my friend David. He was over at, what country were you in?
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. And I just wanted him to share a little bit about World Vision and their clean water projects and just kind of what you saw, kind of how that impacted you. Pretty cool perspective that probably not a lot of people have.
Yeah, for sure. I think, it began for us many years ago with our church, and we had, I think it was Carrie Schlew, come and share in a young, definitely transient community, ways that we can get after a global mission. And so she shared World Vision. We had about 8 runners the first year with Team World Vision to run the marathon to raise money for clean water. And so since then, we just have always done it as a church. And so I would always kind of sell this vision for World Vision. A couple of years ago, there was kind of this turning point for me where the Lord really ministered to my heart, spoke to my heart saying, are you going to partner with this vision? It's going to be part of your vision. And so I signed up to run the marathon, my first marathon to run. At the end of the marathon training, the Lord called us to take a step further, and that's to partner with a specific child through child sponsorship. And during that kind of time, I was asked by a World Vision staff member to go on a vision trip. And so that was what was kind of interesting, because I think the perspective is, I understood, I think, global poverty. I understood the work that World Vision does. We really tout kind of World Vision with some of their statistics, like 84% of their operating expenses goes to programming that specifically assists and comes alongside communities and families. That's just a high percentage. You don't get that kind of percentage. Understood that that clean water transforms communities, and there's a real difference between knowing something cognitively and then experiencing something very tangibly. So as a church, it really kind of paired well, because we're that's what the gospel of Jesus does. There's a fundamental reality that it'll transform communities' life, the world, but there's also an experiential element. You see that in Jesus. Not only does he speak creation, but he comes in and is incarnational in and amongst creation. So I'm kind of geeking out on that. And so we go to Africa, and there's a couple things straight away. The whole trip was very, very just quick. We were at places for 15 minutes, type thing. So we went to Ethiopia's national office in Addis, and we got to see their whole infrastructure, their programming, their model. That was an incredible level of credibility that I knew was there but didn't quite see. Just they're really smart with their programming and which communities they're able to just have most effectiveness in. But then from there we went out into the areas that we are raising money for. We went to specifically WASH areas. It's water, sanitation, and hygiene. And there's just three that I wanted to highlight for you guys and for you, Guy. And the first one was this community that had World Vision come in. They have like a 5 to 10 year plan, and then they leave and they build infrastructure so the community are the ones doing all the work. World Vision is just coming and educating pretty much. So this was a community that World Vision came in. They built a gravity well. It served about 2,000 people within a community, and then they left to go and help farther into Ethiopia. So here's this community that honestly was like a resort. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, beautiful community in the mountains of Ethiopia, and they sat us down as guests of honor, and they gave us popcorn, which was really hilarious. It's really sweet, and coffee. Ethiopians definitely talk about coffee being the origin from Ethiopia. So they gave us all this overflow of the produce because of clean water. And so one by one they started telling us the story, and the elders were there, and they just began to say, because we don't have to walk 8 hours a day to get clean water, because our children don't have to be a part of that, they're able to go to school. The clean water is helping them physically. We were able to start a garden project, so our kids eat good food. We sell the excess of that food, and as a result of that, we are able to. We're able to use those resources to care for the poor in our neighborhood, and also to have a reserve. So they have like $3,000 savings. So that was incredible to see. Okay, where are we going with World Vision? Where are we going with clean water? What's the fruit, the result long term? So from there, very quickly, we went to another community. It was incredible. This community was getting a drill site for the first time. So World Vision came in, said we can get water here. This bore well would serve 400 people within the neighborhood. And so they were hoping for that, anticipating that, and we got there the moment they tapped into water. So like water is gushing out, and there's this construction line tape thing like saying, don't come over here, and they just flood, start surrounding us and cheering and celebrating. And I just remember them saying I don't remember the exact words, but just saying, look at the goodness of God. And that was a big moment for me. The goodness of God is tangible and experiential, and is for those who don't have it, and we would classify that as poor. So this is like a huge moment. I'm like, I'm on fire, man. Forget Chicago, I'm coming here, that kind of thing. It's a profound experience. And so then we get in the car again. We're only there for 20 minutes, and we drive across the river, not even like a 10-minute drive. And we go to a community that has heard about World Vision, but hasn't had access to clean water yet. They're getting water from this algae pond. So it was stagnant water. There was no in for the water. I don't know even how the water got in, but that was where their livestock would get water. So there's feces everywhere, and the whole water of the pond was like an inch thick of this green algae. And so the women and the children, because the men would be working in the fields, would scoop away the algae, would quickly get a scoop of this water, and then take it in a jerry can and have a t-shirt and try to filter that t-shirt. And even after that, the water was like lake water. And here they are drinking it. I remember talking to one of the older women there and saying, are you aware that this water is hurting you? We're aware that it's leading to infant mortality. We're aware that this is leading to the overall health concerns of our community, but we don't have a choice. This is the water that we've been given. We then said, are you familiar with processes for purifying that water, boiling? It's just simply we don't have the time. It takes us 4 hours to get here, 4 hours to get home, lugging around. Generally, these jerry cans are about 40 pounds. You got to think about someone. You're a robust 200 pounds now, but someone probably half your size lugging around these in kind of the hills of Ethiopia. And so it left me kind of with this. One is, let us celebrate what has been done. Let's have hope for what can be done and what is being done. But also, the work is at hand. I mean, that's what Jesus said, and I think he was speaking about more than just a spiritual dynamic at play in the world. I think he was talking about the tangible harvest as well. And he says, look at the harvest is ready. The work is at hand. Who's going to step into the game? And so that's why I signed up to run the marathon again this year and to get after it this year, like yourself.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
You bet.
Cool. Thanks for watching. Again, mattruns.com to donate. Thanks to everyone who has already donated, and please be praying for me and my sister as we run on October 9th.